Norway is a country in Scandinavia. Norway stretches from the northern Arctic areas to a somewhat warmer climate in the south. Bergen is situated in southwest Norway, and it is known for being a very rainy city. This video is for those who are settling in Bergen for the first time. It may provide you with important information if you had lived in an area or climate that's different from Norway. We in Bergen municipality are responsible for your tenancy agreement. We are called the Etat for boligforvaltning, or EBF. Welcome to Bergen. In Norway, it's common to live in a detached house or an apartment within a home, terraced house or block of flats. Regardless of the type of house or apartment you live in, there are some things that you should know in order to live safely and well. In general, it can be said that this mainly concerns adapting to the climate in Bergen and becoming familiar with the risks attached to water systems, electricity and fire. The main topics of this film are heating and ventilation, insurance, waste, water, safety, pests, TV and internet. Heating and ventilation. In Norway, it is essential to have a good and warm place to live in, and the indoor climate needs to be different from the outdoor climate. A good indoor climate is created and maintained by two things: heating and ventilation. Heating is created with sources of heat, such as electric heaters. Ventilation is provided through a continual flow of air through the house. This is done through vents on the wall and when we open windows. This enables damp air to be let out of the rooms. Furniture should be moved slightly away from walls so the air can circulate behind it. Cold, non-ventilated rooms can quickly become damp and mouldy. This can be seen through the formation of black spots and coatings along walls. If this happens, you must report it to EBF, as it can cause adverse effects over time to live in this type of air. Bathrooms generate a lot of damp. It is therefore especially important to open vents and windows in the bathroom after showering, and to dry the floor and walls. Cooking in kitchens creates odours and condensation. It is therefore important to use the electric extractor fan above the stove. This should be on full power when cooking. The extractor fan contains a filter that collects grease and grime. It is important to wash the filter and fan once a month, as grease build-up may pose a fire hazard. Clothes should not be dried inside the apartment, as this produces a lot of damp air. Clothes should be dried in common rooms or outdoor common areas where possible. Fresh, clean air and a good indoor climate are important to the health of you and your family. Heating and ventilation are the most important factors in achieving this. Insurance. We all want to take good care of our homes. However, accidents may happen. It is therefore important to buy insurance. Many types of insurance are available, but the insurance that we will be talking about here is called home contents insurance. This covers all objects in an apartment. Furniture, TVs, clothes, kitchen equipment, and all of your belongings. If you have home contents insurance and a fire or other incident occurs, you will receive help to settle in a new home. You will also receive compensation for property that was destroyed. If you do not have home contents insurance, you will not receive such help. For this reason, it's very important to have home contents insurance. If your neighbour has a leak, it is your insurance policy that will cover your new sofa, not your neighbour's policy. Home contents insurance is not expensive. It costs around 1,000 kroner a year. which is about the same cost as 3 litres of milk per month. And it gives you an important safety net should an accident occur. You can buy insurance by contacting an insurance company or your bank and inquiring about home contents insurance. Waste. Our waste is collected once a week. However, prior to this, the waste should be handled correctly. Our homes have their own dustbins. Normally, each apartment has one dustbin for household waste. To keep animals away, the lids on the dustbins must always be down. Waste can be sorted separately into cardboard, paper, plastic, and household waste. If you only have a dustbin for household waste, plastic and paper can be taken to the local recycling point. This also applies to glass and metal. Furniture and objects cannot be discarded here, only items that can fit inside the containers. Light bulbs and batteries must not be disposed of as normal waste, but handed in at supermarkets. Furniture and other waste must not be placed in common areas. If you want to dispose of larger items, they can be taken to the nearest recycling station. Frying oil must not be emptied into toilets or sinks. Pour the oil into a bag or container and treat it as normal household waste. Some apartments in Bergen are connected to the BosNet underground waste system. If you live in an apartment with BosNet, you will receive information about how it works. In Bergen, the waste management company is called Bergen. You can learn more about Bergen by visiting their website at bergen.no. Proper waste management ensures a good, clean local environment that is pleasant to live in. Good waste management is therefore important. Water. We have copious amounts of water, and tap water can normally be consumed without having to boil it first. However, it is not permitted to have water in any other place than its intended location inside the apartment. Occasionally, you might see a slightly leaking pipe under a sink. This does not necessarily represent an immediate hazard, but could cause damage over time. You might find a temporary solution for fixing it and then call ABF at the earliest opportunity. You are responsible for inspecting these types of pipes yourself. Wet rooms contain floor drains for water to run through. These must not be covered. Drains can become blocked over time, but it is easy to remedy this yourself. The filter cover on top of the drain can be screwed or lifted off, allowing hair and foreign objects to be removed. You could also use a drain cleaner, which can be purchased in a supermarket. If this does not fix the problem, you should contact ABF. Even though the bathroom can withstand water, the floor should not be flooded, as the water may leak to the floors below. This type of flooding can damage both yours and your neighbour's apartment. Some apartments have water leakage protection systems in the kitchen. The system shuts the water supply if it detects water. If the water stops running from the tap, you must therefore check under the kitchen worktop. If the system has shut the water supply due to a water leak, dry up the leak. Press the reset button to reset the system. Water is one of our most important resources, but it is also important to live in dry conditions. Water leakages cause damage and problems that are best prevented. Safety. In order to live safely, some simple everyday procedures must be followed to prevent undesired and hazardous incidents. In the event of an emergency, it's important to remember 3 phone numbers: 110 for the fire brigade, 112 for the police, and 113 for medical assistance. Keeping common areas tidy does not just create a pleasant environment, it's also crucial for escape routes. Furniture and junk that takes up space tends to be annoying and is extremely dangerous if a fire occurs. Exit doors must be kept clear in case of fire, and they must also remain locked, especially at night. We are always working on fire prevention. What are the most important things we can do? Apartments must contain at least 2 smoke detectors, which must be attached to the ceiling. When it's time to change the battery, the detector will emit a beeping sound every minute. The battery must then be replaced with a new one. Free smoke detector batteries are available in the reception at ABF. Smoke detectors must not be removed and must always contain a battery. Another fire prevention measure is a stove alarm. If you forget to remove a hot pan from the stove alarm will sound an alarm and shut off the electricity supply. The stove alarm must be reset before the stove can be used again. Very many residential fires start on stoves. Overheating during frying is a particular fire hazard. If a fire starts due to boiling oil, do not use water or a fire extinguisher. Extinguish the fire by putting a lid on the pan. All houses and apartments must have at least one fire extinguisher. Remember that the pressure of the fire extinguisher must be checked regularly and that it must be turned upside down every 6 months. Electric heaters must not be covered by curtains, clothing, or other items as this may cause fire. A fuse box controls the electrical system in your apartment. You must know the location of the fuse box. If there is a power outage, check if any of the fuse switches are in a downward position. This may happen if you use too much electricity or if a device is defective. Unplug the last device you used and flip the fuse switch back up again. If the problem persists, you should contact ABF. Many apartments contain sprinkler systems. In the event of a fire, they will activate and sprinkle a large volume of water. The sprinklers must not be touched or used to hang things on. You do not need to be concerned about a fire alarm triggering the sprinklers, as they are only activated by high temperatures. Many buildings have a central fire alarm system. If the alarm sounds in one apartment, it will sound in all the apartments. You have 2 minutes to turn off a false alarm before it sounds throughout the building. The reset button is generally found near the front door. If the fire brigade receives a false alarm, you must phone and inform them of this. The emergency number must only be used for emergencies. Although electricity and heating may be hazardous, they are safe when used correctly, with the right safety measures. Pests. There are several types of pests that can cause problems. Rats, cockroaches, ants, and bedbugs are types of pests that we do not want in our homes. If pests are a problem, ABF must be contacted. Bedbugs are parasites that are found indoors all over the world. Even though they are not dangerous, they bite humans and are unpleasant to live with. Bedbugs have become more common in Norway in recent years, for example, because we travel more. When abroad, you should inspect beds, sofas, and surrounding areas for excrement and eggs. You should always keep your baggage closed and placed somewhere high up, not directly on the floor or under the bed. Avoid staying in places where there are signs of bedbugs. If you suspect that you have stayed in a place with bedbugs or cockroaches, open your baggage outside your home. The contents should be shaken well and washed at 60 degrees. Suitcases should also be heat treated or frozen. Bedbugs spread to neighbouring apartments. Therefore, prevention and treatment is vital. If bedbugs infest your apartment, specialists should handle them. Leftover food must not be thrown outdoors. This attracts rats and large birds. anyone can experience problems with pests. It does not necessarily mean that you have done anything wrong. However, it is important to know how to prevent such infestations. Internet and TV. It is possible to connect to both TV and the internet in ABF's apartments. In order to connect to TV and the internet, you must order a subscription with the provider yourself. Tenants cover the costs themselves. You can choose whether to have TV, the internet, or both. It is not possible to put up satellite dish receivers on ABF's homes. TV and internet providers can give you advice on installation and can be contacted if you have any questions or problems. When moving into one of our apartments, an electricity subscription plan will apply. Tenants cover the cost of electricity themselves. As a new tenant, we ask you to look after the apartment, and we hope that you and your family will be comfortable and happy living there.